Hello everyone, welcome to the Tea House, and today we're joined by my brother to talk about a crucial but undermined event in Chinese history.
Hello.
Now look at this map and tell me what you see.
A goofy looking China.
Well, no, this is China's largest extent of any Chinese civilization, and also the last imperial dynasty reigning from 1636 to 1911. Now, despite what it's called, this wasn't controlled by the Han Chinese, but instead the Manchus, an ethnic group originating from the region of Manchuria. This isn't out of the ordinary though, because that's basically what happens in half the Chinese dynasties. Due to what we like to call the Mandate of Heaven and the dynastic cycle of China, which is basically that a dynasty isn't great until the government starts to become corrupt, and would you look at that, natural disasters. This then causes rebellions, which eventually lead to the emperor being dethroned, or other tribes or countries take the opportunity to take a jab at the dynasty. This time, it was the latter, and thus the Qing Empire was established in 1636. Now, while the first 2 centuries were nice, the 1800s, though, were a different story. They faced countless natural disasters, famines, a rising opium addiction, and a population increasing at an alarming rate, which probably wasn't helped by Qing China getting handed on by foreign powers, causing them to enter a century of humiliation, and their government starting to become corrupt. This leads us to our main guy, Hong Hishwan. Xuan?
Hong Xishan.
Yeah, this guy taking the Imperial examination.
The Emperor what?
Imperial examination. Basically a really hard test about Confucius' teaching, which if passed could get you and others you know into government positions. The problem was that it had a low pass rate, and you had to remember everything about Confucius' teachings. This was Hong's third time taking the test, and he failed once again, causing him to go into a severe nervous breakdown. While healing, he would slip into trances where he would receive visions about Jesus and stuff, telling him to defeat the evil Manchus and get rid of Confucianism. Once he woke up, Hong changed his name to Hong Xuiquan and just went insane for a bit, often being seen ranting and slicing at no one. He got better after a little while and passed it off to take the exam again, where he failed again. At that point, he was like, you know what? This is rigged. Screw this. He then promptly started to study Christianity, where he discovered that he was the son of God, born on this mortal plane to overthrow the government. He was rejected for baptism, so turned to preaching his idea to the Chinese people, and that seemed to sicken some people, so his movement started to grow. Some of those people had the ability to speak to God. With everything going as planned, Hong initiated his rebellion in the beginning of 1851, where he immediately took over his home province, proclaiming his new dynasty the Heavenly Kingdom, or the Taiping, but was forced to flee north after the Qing army had tried to close in on them. They moved to the Xuiquan province, where they expanded their territory through battles and besiegements of towns. They then began to follow the Shang River to take control of more areas. After a little while, they began to move east of the Yangtze River, where they captured the city of Anqing.
Wait, if they're doing so great right now, how did they lose this war?
Well, it's the beginning of a war, and you should never judge a war's outcome based on the beginning. Alright, now the Taipings were also being helped by a group of criminals known as the Triads, who over time began to deteriorate. The Taiping, though, was stripping a boss in 1853 with the capture of Nanjing, and declared by Hong to become the capital. He was shortly moving afterwards after purging the local Manchus.
Huh?
Now, during the same time, the Taiping were also launching their northern and western expedition to help expand their territory. Now, let's talk about the Taiping dynasty internally. There were a bunch of political laws and policies that attracted many Chinese citizens to defect to the rebellion. Some included the collection of goods among the citizens to the local collectors who would then distribute them among the entire population. Others included the allowance to grow their hair out, and that's significant because the Qing had a policy that all men were forced to have this awful haircut to show their loyalty to the government. So this was seen as a big no-no to the Qing government, but some of the policies were just stupid, like the extreme separation of sexes so that men can focus on the war.
Bruh.
Okay, for this next event, you need to know that Hong titled 4 of his generals as King of Sun Direction and Lord of X amount of years. Wei Changgu for the north, Xiao Chaogu for the west, Feng Yushan for the south, and Yan is especially important because he wanted to gain more power by overthrowing Hong. Yang wasn't great at hiding this, and Hong started to mistrust him. This all came together in the Nanjing incident of 1856, which resulted in the death of Yang and his followers, then later killing Wei and his followers after discovering his plan to arrest him. Oh, would you look at that? Start with the Second Opium War.
Bruh.
Yeah, the first Opium Treaty caused a lot of tension between the Qing and Western powers, and the argument over opium was the breaking point. Hong and the generals were pretty excited because he thought that they were sympathetic for his cause. This thought, though, was not true, and they declared neutrality except for some of the military leaders who joined the Qing efforts, who during this time were getting desperate, lifting some bans, and pleading for anyone to join them. This eventually led to Xuiquan to take charge of the army in the Hunan province. He proved quite effective against the Taiping by becoming the guy in charge of the war against them. This is the turning point for the rebellion, with Zheng being able to take back the provinces of Yubei and push back the Western expedition. Later on in December of 1856, the Qing capture of Wuchang for the last time showed how there was little chance that the Taiping were going to win the war.
How could they continue to fight then?
Because they still thought they had a chance. The Taiping were also beginning to be faced off against the European powers, who joined the Qing to get rid of the rebellion in order to keep the Qing weak. And boy, did these guys really make an impact, because these guys would sometimes be the sole reason the Taiping wouldn't win a battle. Not all was bad though, because in 1859, Hong's cousin, Hong Xuiquan, arrived and was given a lot of power. Xuiquan was important, because he wanted to expand the Taiping boundaries and had ties with some of the foreign nations. Xuiquan also helped administer the Taiping reforms, and helped win some battles. This was seen with the 1860 Taiping successful repeal of the Qing besiegement on Tianjin, allowing for an invasion of the Jiangsu and Zhejiang, the richest in the Qing dynasty. The Taiping throughout the 1860s were able to take the cities of Hangzhou, Changzhou, and Suzhou, and these regions allowed Zhen to send his forces up the Yangtze River. How did they lose then? Well, maybe if you listen a bit more, you see how. In 1861, they failed to take the city of Shanghai to Qing army under the European command of Frederick Townsend Ward. The army would later be titled the Ever-Victorious Army. Also, the Qing Emperor died, and now this loser's in charge.
Wait, dude, slow down. What's going on?
Alright, this is what the map looks like right now, and Zheng, with the help of the Royal Navy, just took the city of Anqing. The Taiping, getting desperate, launched an eastern expedition where they were able to easily take the cities of Ningbo and Hangzhou, but failing to take Shanghai, as the ever-victorious army was able to repel the attack and push them with the capture of Ningbo and other strongholds along the Yangtze River. Over time, many Taiping commanders would surrender to the Qing army, where they'd be killed as traitors using various methods.
Ouch!
Yeah. The Qing were able to reorganize the army under the influence of some of the best generals. They initiated the reconquest in 1863, which didn't start off great, but after Zheng adopted the Ming general Qi tactics, they made major gains, retaking much Taiping out territory by 1864.
Hong must have been pissed.
What? No. He's been being chill with it, in fact, being dead and all.
Wait, what?
Yeah, in 1862, Zhen had besieged the capital, and that caused Hong's mental state to go down the drain. The Taiping Rebellion didn't last much longer, because, no shock, teens can rule a rebellion, nonetheless one falling apart, and Tang Fu and most other leaders were caught and executed, officially ending the Taiping Rebellion. In the aftermath, there was a total death count of 15 to 30 million, the same as World War I, making it one of the bloodiest civil wars in history. Another nutcase tried to do the same thing along the Vietnam-Qing border, but I'm not going to talk about it. Overall, this rebellion helped show the Qing dynasty was falling apart, with the Second Opium War only furthering this idea. Now, while the Taiping Rebellion was over, its Western ideas would continue to exist after the Shanghai Revolution of 1911.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh shoot, it's closing time. Colton, what lesson did you take away from this video?
Mentally unstable people shouldn't be in charge of a rebellion or a country.
And good enough. Anyway, see ya.